Hey now, think positively, alright? We talked about this.
I know. We hardly talk about anything else.
So back in October of 2020, I made a video about how I don't believe that Mia Winters will die in Resident Evil 8. I theorised a lot about her fate in that video, and despite it being one of my most viewed videos, I'm ultimately dissatisfied with it. I made that video back when I was a lot less advanced at editing, and I feel like it shows. I also feel like I come across very awkward in that video. So I'm kinda making this video as a do-over to that video. So without further ado, let's talk about why Mia Winters won't die in Resident Evil 8. Okay guys, let's think about this for a second. Mia Winters has multiple playable segments in Resident Evil 7. The game is centred around her character being rescued by her husband. I don't know about you, but I find it hard to believe that Capcom would throw away such a major character like Mia Winters the next game she appears in. Especially considering the fact that Capcom never really kills off their main characters in Resident Evil games. There are of course some exceptions, like Steve Burnside or Albert Wesker, but Steve was introduced in Code Veronica to die, and Resident Evil 5 put an end to Albert's story. It fit the narrative for both of these characters to die. The same can't be said for Mia. There's still so much about her character that we know nothing about, and she's kind of underdeveloped. And seeing as Capcom have said that they wanted to develop Ethan's character in Resident Evil 8, who's to say that they wouldn't want to develop Mia's character? If Capcom was really going to kill off Mia Winters, why would they show it in the trailer? That just doesn't make sense to me, like that's literally spoiling the plot. And Capcom have been very protective over Resident Evil 8, like we've not seen that much of the game, so I find it hard to believe that they would kill off Mia and show it to us. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm sure some of you will remember that back before Resident Evil 5 was released, a lot of the marketing and trailers insinuated that Jill Valentine was dead. The beginning of Resident Evil 5 even insinuates that. Only for us to realise that later on in the game, Jill wasn't dead. She was alive and kidnapped by Wesker. Capcom tricked the fans back then. And I think Capcom is doing the exact same thing with Mia's character. I think they want us to think that she's dead, only for us to shockingly realise that she's alive later on. It's also worth mentioning that Mia's character has appeared in all 3 of Resident Evil 8's trailers, and she has come across very mysterious in these said trailers, which makes me think that there's more that meets the eye. If her character was just going to be unceremoniously killed off by Chris Redfield in the beginning of RE8, then why do all the trailers put an emphasis on her character and her character being mysterious and creepy? So I think I've made it pretty clear that I don't think that Mia Winters will be dying in Resident Evil 8, and that Capcom are just trying to trick us into thinking that she's dead. But I'm sure a lot of people are wondering why she would be getting shot in the trailer if that didn't mean that she was being killed. So I'm going to explain how I think she could still be alive. My first theory is that she is still infected with the mold from Resident Evil 7. We know that the mold infection can give you the ability to regenerate wounds and survive fatal injuries. I distinctly remember Mia needing around 20 rounds to take her down and being able to survive an axe to the neck. So if she is still infected with the mold in Resident Evil 8, then the chances of her surviving Chris's gunshots are incredibly high. This has been my theory from day one, and I can't really think of any other theories that make a whole lot of sense aside from this one. But I'd love to hear about your theories in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye!